I actually need to put the link to my channel on my website. I
That's
I
very
need to,
good idea.
yeah, exactly. So copy link address. See this. So here's my YouTube channel. Maybe we could do that too. All right. Hey everybody. Today we're going to look at the latest developments of AI telemetry and smart aquaculture. Let me show you what's happening. Okay, I'm testing out the indexing of page data because there's currently been a bug. There's new developers joining the AI telemetry project as developers, and when they make their first change, then the page class Java classes get some misinformation and get generated incorrectly, and you have to generate them twice before it works. So I want to check if my latest indexing code works for this. It it now indexes the AI cluster.java, and then it indexes AI cluster page.java, AI cluster page gen.java, AI cluster gen page, and then AI cluster gen page gen. Um, it seems crazy why there's so much inheritance in here, but I'll explain why. If I go to AI cluster page.java, this is where the inheritance begins. And by having this blank class, it lets you extend any method inside of here and override it if you don't like the default functionality of the AI cluster page, for example. You can override it. And so you can add new fields that'll get initialized in here, and then they will get initialized as part of this class in the promised deep AI cluster page stuff. So this is meant to run a promise AI cluster page and initialize everything within here. And then after it initializes that, excuse me, it asynchronously initializes all the superclasses. So it calls promise deep AI cluster gen page. So AI cluster gen page, AI cluster page gen extends AI cluster gen page, which has all of these fields for returning search results. They're overrides because they're actually declared in the page layout. So there's all of this override stuff going on based on this AI cluster model. And this page extends AI cluster gen page gen, which initializes this page, which extends page layout, which extends page layout gen, which eventually extends object, and that's the end of the inheritance. So there's a ton of inheritance to make all of this work to display a page. And what I want to see is hopefully minimal changes if I make an update to AI project like I've been doing. I'm going to save this and I want to see AI project touched. Okay, so it told me AI project touched. And then I come over here, CD into AI telemetry and get status. Yes, this is better. Get diff. It used to modify two files, and now it only modifies this one, and it has my latest updates to get the string value of whatever the ID is, if it's not null. Um, so that's what I wanted to see. Although there's maybe another problem where it's putting things a little out of order, which is something else I might look into. But at least one of those bugs is fixed. I want to look at these changes here. These are changes in the Computate project. So let me just Control A, Control C, and copy this into my other VS Code. Um, and we'll check. So when we index classes, this one usually results in errors because it doesn't know everything that's been indexed yet. But then what we want to do is index everything, but also index pages as well, because we basically have code that generates code that generates code that generates code. We have like nested code generation going on here, especially with these pages. And it got a little out of sync in the past, but now here's some fixes to resolve that. We have this new method for indexing classes and pages, which indexes the original class, and then it indexes the page, and it indexes the 4 different Java classes related to the page, and then it's done. So I'm going to commit this change. Git add -I fixing indexing of pages. Git push. All right. So that's cool. Um, Now within AI telemetry, let me show you some more changes that were made. So first, I need to cd into computate vertex and git pull the latest there. Cd into computate, git pull. Then I'm going to do a Maven clean install and install the latest. All right, great. Now I want to cd into AI telemetry and bin generate now the latest code. Currently, we already have a bunch of changes for adding a new API called bare metal order. And this is where we'll be able to request new bare metal computers to be assigned to us. This will take a little bit to finish. But what we've defined so far is a bare metal order and a search page, an edit page, a user page, and an API URI. Because yeah, the users should be able to see their bare metal order and get information about it. So we set up a user page, but that still needs some work. It'll probably be a custom page that we're going to override. And then we can search, git, patch, post, delete. Users will be able to create these. And what we're going to do is you don't have to give a bare metal order a name, but we need some kind of unique identifier for the bare metal order. And so we use this underscore PK field. And we make it the ID variable. We also make it the name variable. And then we also have a description field. And that's all we have so far. So let me see if this runs. I'm going to check which directory I'm in and then do a Maven clean install. See if this works. So I also added some fixes from yesterday's Smart Aquaculture workshop because the context broker was not working yesterday, and it was actually a bug in my Computate Vertex libraries that I introduced. So there were some commits with the JSON deserializers because these were kind of done poorly earlier. I need to be able to deserialize JSON in specific fields in our models. And there was a mistake where I wasn't checking here if the arrays is not empty before peeking at what's in the stack for the parsing. And it ended up in a null pointer exception or a index out of bounds exception. So I fixed that bug yesterday. And then it was able to get the integration with the Fireware context broker working again. All right. So then here in AI telemetry, oh, we got a failure. Shoot. What's the problem here? Let's see. Cluster request. Name. What's this doing here? Set cluster template title. Let me see. Cluster request.java. Name. name cannot be resolved to a variable. Query. Oh, yeah, this was some more bugs that I was trying to fix, but I also messed it up here. So let me see if I can fix this. I go to the Computate project, into this file, and look for underscore recherche. Let's see. I need case sensitive. Yeah. Um, here's where there's a bunch of instances of these. And instead of this, we want to do see, we want to do inherit a primary. You need to do some internationalization. All right. Wait, there's 24 instances of this. So I'm going to find and replace that, save that, and then regenerate cluster request, cluster request.java. All right, let's go to the Computate directory, do a maven clean install. And then come back here, update this file called cluster.java, make sure it generates the code successfully. That's a good sign. I'm going to check in just a sec. Okay, so I think the errors went away. Yay. All right, so then come back here, Maven clean install. I'm going to commit this change as well. Git add fixed references to inherit primary key. Inherit primary key is something used with importing data to keep identifiers consistent, or primary keys consistent between the source and the import of the data into the new data. All right, let's see if this was successful. Yes, we got a success. And so now I can run this. Run AI telemetry. Click fix, click update project configuration. That usually happens after a Maven clean install. It's out of date with VS Code. So then we wait for this to finish refreshing. It says 65, 75. Back to 59, 60. It's just doing its thing. Okay, I think it's ready now. Run. Oh, it's already running, so we stop. We start this again. Clear the logs. All right, so we were able to import all the data, and then we should be able to make a bare metal order now. Bare metal order. Yes. Create bare metal order, another order. Create a bare metal order. So now so this becomes the name field. It's also the primary key, order number 2. And here's the description. And if we go back to all bare metal orders, you see there's the 2 orders, 1 and 2, another order. So that's what we were trying to achieve there. Now that this is looking pretty good, I want to update the Smart Aquaculture site. So let me git pull the latest here, git pull the latest here, do a Maven clean install. And then open up my Smart Aquaculture VS Code Workbench, which is not in the cloud. It's here on my computer running Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And I switch to Smart Aquaculture. And then create a new terminal for that. CD into /local src smart -aquaculture. Now, git status git pull. Let me make sure this is up to date. Okay, good. And then I'm going to run bin slash generate.sh. This will regenerate all the code. Oh, we got an error. Unauthorized. Oh, yeah. So when I'm developing locally, I need to be connected to OpenShift local. If I do OC git pod, it says, oh, you don't have credentials. So CRC is running. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you search for OpenShift local, it's a free download, but you need to be running a supported version of Linux, like a recent Fedora, CentOS Stream, or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. But you can install it on your own laptop or your own desktop computer like I have, and it works so good. So I have it running here, but I need to log in. It gives me a kubeadmin password, so I usually just see, you can do OC login -u kubeadmin. I'm just kind of following along here, except switching developer to kubeadmin. And then I put in this API URI. Whoops, forgot a space. And then a -p for password, and I put in this password, and then I'm good to go. OC git pod. Much better. Here's my Solar running. Here's my Zookeeper. Here's my Postgres. Here's my Scorpio broker. And those are the microservices that we need. And then I come back here and I run this again. And now it's successfully able to connect to Apache Solar and index the source code. And it's also going to start regenerating some code. If I do git status, no changes yet. In fact, they might be in Aquaculture static. Oh, that's a change I was making earlier. Trying to query the webinars, but whenever it does this, it means it's querying the smart data models that Fireware provides to figure out what's the top smart data model to index. So you can see fish population, crowd flow observed, feed, and feeder are related to smart aquaculture as well as feeding operations. So we've been we're generating code for that. Oh, I must have run generate.sh, but I could have done generate now. So what this is doing is it's indexing everything 3 times before generating the code. So it hasn't actually gone to generate the code yet. That's why I'm not seeing any changes yet. It was busy indexing 3 times everything. So this is taking a little bit longer. That's okay. We're testing out our latest changes to make sure we haven't broken anything in AI telemetry or smart aquaculture, and we're making everything up to date with the latest code generation. This is how I keep my applications up to date is I generate like at least 90% of the code, and then I can introduce bug fixes and keep these giant software repositories up to date with the latest more easily with all of this code generation. That's a huge advantage of AI code generation is being able to manage more securely and efficiently your code and remove a lot of bugs over time faster. Um, while that's running, something else that I wanted to dive back into was my Red Hat Developer Sandbox, because this is a free environment you can use to do AI, but also develop applications. And what I wanted to do is get smart aquaculture deployed inside of this free Red Hat OpenShift developer sandbox, and then test out installing the OpenJDK package to develop Java within VS Code. Because I'm not able to use my custom image in this environment, which is preloaded with Java and OpenJDK. So I want to see if I can install it manually inside of OpenShift AI here. So I open up my dev sandbox, data science projects, computate dev, workbench. So I have this VS Code workbench. I need to start it. And then I also have all of these um, services deployed, workloads, deployments. Let's see, stateful sets. Yeah, okay, so it's got Zookeeper, Solar, PostgreSQL, at least. They're not running though. So these things all shut down overnight. Image pull back off. What? Let's see. What is this saying? Starting event log. Notebook image pulled. Running. Okay, now it's running. Good. Then I can open this. And I have this free Smart Aquaculture Cloud Sandbox course. If you go to my site, computate.org, and scroll down to the latest available course and get started, you can download it for free. It's really just a repository on GitHub that you can follow. Um, maybe I should make this the README point to here because it might be confusing on how to get started. Because it says 00 README, but there's no README here. But this explains how to set up the Red Hat OpenShift Developer Sandbox like we did. So in this environment, see, where did my, oh, here it is right here. I have a restart services playbook. Let me run this. Run all. Oops, start services. So that's going to go and run everything and hopefully bring back all the services. Although they're not all run, they don't all exist. So might need to redeploy some stuff. While that's running, I want to check. Let's see. No, I want to check on Smart Aquaculture. I think it's done generating the code. Let me do a git status. So there were some changes made to the static content. Mainly to fix null pointer exceptions, I think. Status. Okay, so let me see if this compiles. Maven clean install. All right, that's good. Let me rebuild the Smart Aquaculture API. Run this again. Okay, everything looks good. And now run Smart Aquaculture. All right, so we can access our site here. Yes. I was attempting to add the webinar to the homepage, but I haven't finished that. Fish populations. What I want to see is the ability to create a fish population like Louisiana shrimp and create. No, we got another error. Oh, and that's because you have to disable the context broker when we're deploying locally because it doesn't support invalid certificates. in the context broker, and I haven't figured out why that is. So that's why I always change vars.yaml context broker send to false, and then stop and restart this. But it should have created, let's see, fish populations. Let me try this again. Create Louisiana shrimp. Create. All right, so that works. Also, I want to check that this works to set a new location. Yes, and area served. Yes, that worked. So we added those locations. Anyway, so this is Smart Aquaculture Local Development and a little intro to the OpenShift Developer Sandbox. So I got to finish going through these notebooks to deploy RabbitMQ. We're going to wait for RabbitMQ to be ready. This this Cloud Sandbox course is a little different than what we're doing at Red Hat Summit, because this one actually lets you deploy the microservices, and at the Red Hat Summit, they're all going to be deployed for you, and you're just able to use them. So this one's pretty fun. You get to do this cloud deployment stuff. And I'm impatient, so I do run all and let it run through all these steps real quick to create a Scorpio broker secret to connect to PostgreSQL and a database user and a database and deploy Scorpio broker and wait for it to become ready. Okay, so that is running. And then we deploy Keycloak and all. Anyway, that's the plain key hook. I think this is all the time I have for today. I got to jump to another meeting. So thanks for watching. I'm going to stop the live stream.